I'm hearing that they're hiding the truth of what's really going on and what's really been going on within that group. Okay, I understand there's a lot going on in this world right now with the genocide that's going over there in Palestine and but when I get these downloads and these messages come through to me, I have to release them. I have to give the wisdom. When wisdom is given, wisdom needs to be shared. I have to do my duty as a child of the Most High God, as his mouthpiece, as his vessel. So here we go. I hope that this brings some clarity to you. So I'm speaking to the collective of people that you were the designated scapegoat in this group dynamic that you were in, that you were a part of. And you were the targeted individual, and you were also gang stalked by this whole group of people that coincided together to come against you. And what happened is that there was this, this narrative that they spun where it was all of them together against you. It was all of them together and it was you by yourself. They wanted you isolated. Which is why they ostracized you into isolation. They wanted you to stand alone. But you have so much power even when you stand alone. And even when you stood alone, they still did not defeat you. They did everything that they could to try and defeat you, but it was to no avail because you are way too powerful. You have the power of the Most High God that is within you, that is surrounding you. You have angelic presences, divine protection surrounding you. And although it is not seen in the physical with your two eyes, but it is felt, it is present in the spiritual realm that our human eyes cannot see. But they were there, they were always there. Now, while you were standing alone, you faced a lot of opposition. You faced a lot of ostracism. You faced a lot of emotional, psychological abuse, torture. 255 on my clock. You also faced dehumanization. They dehumanized you when they treated you as if you were less than human, as if you did not deserve to be treated like a human being with feelings. They treated you like you were some object. They treated you like you were some animal. They objectified you and looked at you as just this object of ridicule. Oh, come on, spirit. There was animalization that was there. Now, although for some, they didn't necessarily call you an animal, but for some of you, they did. But the way that they treated you is they treated you like you were an animal, like you were just the bottom of the food chain, like you couldn't speak or talk or just do human things. They treated you so horribly that's exactly how they treat animals. Now, also what these people did is they spun this whole narrative as if everybody was all in one accord and everybody was together and you were isolated, you were alone, you were ostracized by yourself. And they wanted to keep that narrative intact like this because they wanted to feed into the illusion, the deception. Like these people were very deceptive. They were very manipulative. They were very conniving. And even if this group of people did not really like each other, did not really care for each other, what they all collectively did was they agreed to come together to go against you. And when when you were no longer in the picture, there was no need for them to constantly be together, because how could they come together to talk about you or find ways to ostracize you even further, find more ways to abuse you? How could they do that if you were not around? Once you were removed, it's like those people had nothing better. At the time, it's like they had nothing better to do with themselves, nothing better to do with their lives. And then once God removed you, they really had nothing better to do. So they had to find other things to do. But what I'm also hearing is that as of now, as of today, that group is dismantled. That group has crumbled. And they are not even for each other anymore. The way that they used to back each other up in your face to make you feel some type of way, to make you feel like you were not as important, to really make you feel like you were unwanted. It's like they backed each other up in your face just so they could make you feel rejected. But now, at this point, they don't even group up anymore. They don't spend time with each other as much as they did before, because the only time they really spent a lot of time together was to talk about you, to gossip about you, to plot, plan, and scheme ways to come against you. Now these people barely communicate. They barely convene. They barely even speak to each other. And it's almost like it's chuckling on how they're behaving now, because beforehand they would do so much to make it seem as if they all love each other and care about each other and they all get along so well, and it's you that's causing the disruption and it's you that's the one that's disturbing the peace. And they just did so much because they wanted to feed into this illusion that you were just this problem when you were never the problem. The problem is what they had within themselves. And because you had a group of people that did not self-reflect, they did not look into the mirror, they needed someone to be their fall guy, someone to be their scapegoat. And they just chose you to be their scapegoat. But now it's at a point where they don't really show up to help out each other the way that they used to. They don't, come together, to celebrate one another, or if they do, it's very selective. It's like maybe one person celebrates another, but it's not like it's a group effort of them coming together as a group to celebrate one person or to acknowledge one person or to uplift another person. Like all of that has ceased to exist. And what's happening now is this group is separated. It's like degrees of separation. And now that everything is separated, they now see the truth of what has really occurred, because they are now facing the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is that these people are corrupt in character. And that the only thing that brought them together as a group was not because of their good moral character, but was because of their poor character. They all came together to put someone else down. And they're now realizing that what they thought they had, they never had. But they probably will never admit to you that this group has dismantled, that everything fell apart, that everything crumbled from underneath them, that everything just slipped through their fingers, that the close relationship that they had, that they tried to rub in your face and throw in your face, is no longer a thing, and it never really was a thing. They will never admit to you that this is the reality of how things are now. But they had to come feed that illusion once again to make you think that you were the problem when you were never the problem. The problem lied within them.